Welcome to the Break Vape podcast. I am your host, Tammy Ernst. If you are an overwhelmed mom struggling to quit vaping after trying everything in your power to quit, then you are in the right place, mama. Each week on the show, we analyze stress, vaping, and addiction from a place of zero self-judgment so that you can build up the skills you need to ditch your vapes for good. Are you ready? Let's get to work. Hey mamas, welcome back to the podcast. One recurring theme I hear from many of you is how stress and anxiety often lead to vaping. Believe me, I understand. I've been in that place myself. That's why I'm revisiting an episode dedicated to strategies for managing stress and anxiety, all while saying goodbye to the vape. So let's dive into it.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Break Vape podcast, episode 12. I am your host, Tammy Ernst. How are you guys doing today? I see that we have some new listeners in India. Welcome to the community, my friends. I am so glad that you are here, and I hope that I can be a resource for you in whatever way that you are struggling with vaping in your life. Every time I see someone from a new state in the USA where I live, or someone from a new country that has downloaded this podcast, it instantly brings me back to a place of service and reminds me of how many of us vapers from all across the world and from different walks of life need creative ideas and skills and tactics to kick the deadly habit of vaping for good. There is so much going on in the world with wars and political unrest, lack of resources, uncertain economies, peer pressure for our younger listeners, and your own unique struggles that the stress of it all can just seem overwhelming. So today we are going to talk about stress and anxiety. Whether you vape or not, we are going to touch on how to cope with stress and anxiety. Now, if you go back and listen to episode 8 of this podcast, you will hear me explain how vaping actually causes stress and not helps with it, like many of us think that it does. I know I used to. If you have been listening to this podcast for a while, you will know by now that I encourage you to do various exercises on the topic of your vaping habits. If you want to do them again, go ahead and listen to the other episodes with a pen and paper handy. And please do the work for yourself that I prompt you to do, because it will help you think differently about vaping. And that is the first key to quitting. In one of these exercises, I asked you all what you actually like about vaping. And the number one response that I got by a landslide is that you guys all vape in order to help with stress and anxiety, which, spoiler alert, is why I used to vape as well. But now we know, especially if you go back and listen to episode 8 of this podcast, that, like I just mentioned, that vaping actually creates stress and anxiety instead of helping with it. How to handle stress and anxiety in a healthy way is such an important topic that I'm certain this episode will just be the first of many episodes to come where we will disarm vapes from being our go-to solution to try to handle these problems. I had to get very specific with myself in terms of how to handle anxiety when I was creating my own step-by-step system on how to quit vaping for good, which is filled with a unique variety of custom tips and tricks. My system is like a domino effect that starts with one force of momentum, which is how to change your mindset. So the very first thing that you do is to think a new thought in your beautiful brain, and this will set everything else into motion for you. You guys, every habit that we have, every practice comes from a thought that is probably so deep-seated by now that it is buried in your unconscious brain, which is why most of us vape on autopilot. As soon as this thought is identified, interrupted, and changed, you, my friend, are well on your way to living a vape-free life. Changing the thoughts in your brain is the exact reason why so many people have been able to quit smoking cold turkey. For example, there are so many instances when someone who has smoked for decades is given news by a doctor that they have cancer or something like that. And this news is such a shock that it interrupts years worth of subconscious thoughts. And that person will instantly have a new thought, which unfortunately is bred from the intense fear of dying. But this new thought of, I have to quit smoking or I will die, will now become the dominant thought that drives the smoker's actions into quitting cold turkey. I highly recommend going back and listening to episode 5 of this podcast to hear an example story of exactly how my own granny quit smoking cold turkey from changing her thinking after decades of smoking. She is absolutely amazing, and her story is pretty hilarious, so go check that out if you haven't done so already. It all starts with a thought, my friends. You picked up vaping because of a thought that you may or may not even remember now, and now you can quit vaping with a thought as well. I say it all the time that in order to really quit vaping, you're going to have to change the way that you think and feel your feelings. And there are actually steps of doing this effectively. Now, many of you may be thinking, well, I don't want to feel my feelings. And I get it. Feeling your feelings means addressing stress and anxiety head on. But don't worry, I've got you. I can 100% coach you on how to make your quitting process less uncomfortable and actually turn it into a happy, healthy, and exciting experience so that you can ditch vapes forever. In addition to spreading awareness around the dangers of vaping, one of the many goals that I have for this podcast is to provide you with enough free and abundant content so that you can quit vaping on your own. And of course, for those of you who want to fast track the process with my coaching program, just send an email to hello@breakvapes.com and you'll get all the details on how I can help you. When this step-by-step process is broken down, there are a few steps that you will go through until you reach the point where you actually need tools to deal with stress and anxiety in a healthy way. Stress and anxiety, they're going to start to surface when you're going through the withdrawal part of your quitting journey. So we have many stages, right? We make the decision to quit. We create our quit plan. We do all these other things, and then we initiate it, and then we actually put the vapes down, and then our body physically is going to freak out when you start feeling withdrawal. There are a plethora of ways to manage stress and anxiety that I encourage you to research on your own when you're thinking and you're getting serious about quitting. I use quite a wide variety of them, and here are 6 coping skills that I'd like to offer for you to try out when you're struggling with withdrawal. So we're going to list all 6 here. Number 1, weaponize your language towards your vape products. And from now on, instead of calling your device an e-cigarette or a vape, call it a stress stick or a sick stick when you are talking about it. And most importantly, when you are thinking about it. Right now, the thought that you like and enjoy vaping is cemented into your unconscious mind. So we need to go in there and reprogram it with repetition of new language. Doing this and practicing it repeatedly will change the narrative in your brain, which is biologically designed for survival. So help it out with this tactic. I actually did an entire episode on this topic in episode 7 of this podcast. So you can go back and listen to that one for more details. Number 2, accept that you are anxious. This is normal. Stress is normal. Life is not perfect, and you will not be happy and peaceful 100% of the time. And I'm sorry to say that, but it's true and it's okay. When you are in the throes of feeling anxious, remember that vaping causes stress and anxiety, not helps with it. If you need to find evidence of this before you actually experience it for yourself, then I encourage you to go online and research how mental health has improved for people after they quit vaping. It is seriously mind-blowing and highly therapeutic to do this research for yourself. Number 3, sit with your urge. The way urges work, you guys, when we're going through withdrawal is very interesting because for many of us, they come on with such strong intensity that it can seem impossible to ignore. Since having such a strong urge is something that you can actually count on, go ahead and plan for how you're going to experience it. When that urge hits and you're feeling stressed out, literally talk to it. Say something like, "Hi, urge. I knew you were going to be here. You're right on time." Don't ignore it. Don't try to white knuckle it. Instead, do the opposite and actually acknowledge it and sit with it for a second before you start doing whatever your plan is to deal with your urges. And that is something that you will do in detail when you create your unique quit plan. Number 4. turn your anxiousness into action. You'll know exactly what to do while you are having a strong urge to relapse because you will have written it down in your quit plan. What are your top 25 actions that you're going to have at the ready to keep your hands and your mind distracted when an urge is stressing you out to the max? The amazing thing about urges are that they are predictable and temporary. They are redundant for a time. And when you acknowledge them and do something else instead for about 100 times, the urge will go away for good because you will have correctly and successfully reprogrammed your mind. Side note, I am a testament to this. I was doing some deep cleaning the other day and I found an old vape again underneath my dresser. I'm not making this up. I am not exaggerating. This was literally 2 days ago. And I just thought, wow, I have a zero urge to use this vape and it has absolutely zero control over me. How fascinating. I want other people to experience this too. And this is probably the third random vape that I've found now that just has zero appeal to me. And in time, the same will be true for you as well. Okay, moving on to number 5. When you are feeling overwhelmed by stress and anxiety, talk to or text someone who will give you a little encouragement. I actually still use a free text hotline because sometimes it provides neat little tips that I can share with you guys here on the podcast. There is a line for those of us who are the ones who actually need help. And there's also a line for parents or other people who are looking to help someone else quit. Just text Ditch Vape to 88709. That's Ditch Vape to 88709. And I will also put this in the show notes. Lastly, we have number 6. Do something you enjoy as a reward while you are sitting with your anxiety. This is highly individualistic, right? Because we're all different humans, but we all have a dopamine reward center in our brains that loves to be activated and will be freaking out when we're in the process of quitting vaping. So make your list of 25 self-treats and indulge yourself. And that's it, my friends. These are the 6 tips for stress and anxiety management that I have for you today. I hope that they help you heal along your journey. Remember that stress is normal, but developing a disordered relationship with stress where we try to cope with it by relying on an addiction is where we get into trouble. As always, I am here to help. And if you would like coaching, just send an email to hello@breakvapes.com and you will find out exactly how I can help you quit vaping for good. Have a beautiful day, everyone. See you next week.
Thanks for tuning in today. If you like what was offered in today's show and want even more support, head over to www.breakvapes.com and schedule your free strategy session to discover exactly how my proven system can help you ditch your vapes for good. Bye for now.